Good afternoon, students. Myself, Mrs. Vaishali Nitin Badguzar, Assistant Professor and Head, Department of Botany. Now, students, we are going to start with your paper of BSc second year, semester third. It is Angiosperm Systematics, Anatomy and Embryology. Now, I hope that you are safe in this pandemic situation, and after a long time, we are meeting on this online platform. Students, we will start with this third sem, and in that third sem, I will teach you 6th unit. It is of embryology. Now, let's start with our unit number 6, that is embryology. Good afternoon, students. Today we are going to start with chapter 6, that is embryology. Now in this chapter you have to study microsporangium, microsporogenesis and development of male gametophyte. Again you have to study megasporangium, types of ovules, megasporogenesis, development of female gametophyte, that is monosporic, bisporic and tetrasporic female gametophyte. The next topic will be double fertilization and triple fusion. Again, you have to study the classification of embryo, and the last topic will be endosperm type, its significance and suspended animation. Now the overall unit carries 12 marks. Now we will deal with basically what are angiosperm. Now all of you know that angiosperm, these are the flowering plant. If you recently you have studied a flower, now you know that a single flower consists of mainly 4 typical whorls, out of which 2 are called as accessory whorls and 2 are the essential whorls. Now essential whorls, it is represented by male and female gametophyte. Now male gametophyte, it is represented by means of stamen. It is also called as male gametophyte or male sex organs, and it mainly, the single stamen mainly consists of antherlobe, filament and a connective. Now the second essential whorls, which represents the female gametophyte, it is commonly called as carpel, or it it contribute to the female sex organ, and it mainly consists of style, stigma and ovary. Now the next two whorls, the remaining two whorls, they are called as accessory whorls, as they are not directly involved in reproduction, but they plays an important or vital role in the development of flower. Now these two whorls are calyx and corolla. Now we will deal with calyx. You know that it is green in color. It is the singly it is called as sepal. It protects the flower in bud condition and it helps in photosynthesis as it is green in color. Now the second accessory whorl, it is corolla. Now again the corolla protects the flower in bud condition, or it protects inner whorls, and as it is colorful or it bears different colors, it helps in pollination as the color, due to the color the insects are attracted and it helps in pollination. In this way the flower, it is represented in angiosperm. Now we will study the development of anther or microsporangium. Now all of you know that the anther, it is a bilobes or distichous structure. It is mainly divided into two lobes. If you study the longitudinal section, you will see that it is separated by means of theca. In cross section, anther is tetragonal section. That means you will see the 4 parts, that is consisting of four microsporangia, two in each lobes. Later on, two microsporangia of each lobe fuses as a pollen sac. Now, in this development, the development of microsporangia is eusporangiate type, that is from a group of initial cells. Now few cells in the hypodermal region become differentiated as archisporial cells. For example, in Borrelia, the archisporial cell divides periclinally to form outer primary parietal layer and inner spodogenous layer. The primary parietal layer lies just beneath the epidermis and divides again periclinally to form 3 to 5 concentric layers. These layers give rise to the wall of the sporangium along with epidermis. The sporogenous layer may function directly as pollen mother cell, or it may divide to form many pollen mother cells. Now we will study the structure of anther in detail. A microsporangium is circular and surrounded by four layers. These layers are first epidermis, second endothecium, third middle layer and fourth one tapetum. Outermost layer protects the pollen and help in dehiscence of anther to release pollen. Now we will discuss about anther wall. The mature anther wall comprises of an epidermis followed by an endothecium, 2 to 3 middle layers and innermost tapetum. Epidermis. It is the outermost layer of anther which is single cell in thickness. The cells of thin layer divide only anticlinally in order to cope with the growing anther. Second, endothecium. Endothecium is present next to the epidermis. The cells of the endothecium are radially elongated and develop cellulosic fibrous bands in their inner and tangential walls, and it helps in dehiscence of anther also. Now the third layer is the middle layer. Next to the endothecium are 1 to 3 layers. They are nothing but the middle layers. All of them degenerate at the time of meiosis in microspore mother cell. Now the last layer it is the tapetum or the tapetal layer. The innermost layer of the anther wall is called as tapetum. It is composed of single layer of cell characterized by dense cytoplasm and prominent nuclei. Depending upon the behavior, tapetum it is of two types. First is amoeboid tapetum. It is also called as invasive or periplasmodium type of tapetum. Now this is the most primitive type of tapetum. Later, during the drying up process of anther, periplasmodium hydrates and deposits as tryphene on the wall of pollen grain. It is usually found in hydrophytes. Now student, you have to keep in mind the deposits, that is the tryphene. It may ask in answer in one sentence question. Now this type of tapetum, it is mostly found in hydrophytes. Now next is the next tapetum. It is the now the second type of tapetum. It is called as secretory tapetum. It is also called as glandular or parietal tapetum. As the nature it is helps in secretion, that's why it is all called as secretory tapetum. The secretory tapetal cell remain attached to the middle layer till the development of pollen grains. It is more common among angiosperm. Now we will discuss the function of tapetum. Now first, it provides nourishment to the developing pollen grain. Again, it helps pollen grain includes the growing pollen grains as well as the sporogenous cells, microspore mother cell and young microspores. Now, secondly, it helps in formation of pollen wall. For example, enzyme. It secretes hormones, that is IAA, that is indole acetic acid, that are stored in pollen grains for their early growth. Again, it helps in transport of food material inside of the anther. Now, the next we will discuss about the last, that is the sporogenous tissue. Sporogenous tissue. Primary sporogenous tissue give rise to the microspore mother cell. It is shortly called as MMC also. Some of the sporogenous cells remain non-functional and serves as food material for the developing microspore. MMC undergoes meiosis to form microspore tetrad, which separate out to form microspore or pollen grain. The process of formation of microspore from MMC, that is microspore mother cell, is called as microsporogenesis. Now, in this way you have to study in detail the formation of microsporangium or the structure of microsporangium or the development of anther, then tiers of anther, then the function of tapetum also.